What's up guys, my name is Ace, and the Modern Warfare 2 Early Access campaign starts tomorrow for anybody that digitally pre-ordered the game, and as a result, we're now able to preload the game on all platforms. And with this, it actually answers a pretty big question we've had for quite some time now with Modern Warfare 2, and this is how they're going to be handling Warzone 2 when it comes to the game client as well as the file management. One of the big issues with Modern Warfare 2019 as well as Warzone 1, at least on the console side of things, is both of those games were on the same client, even though they were effectively different games. Like, Warzone was free to play, and especially after they started integrating the other games, Cold War and Vanguard, Warzone also had a ton of content that wasn't available for Modern Warfare. And what this meant is for people that only had interest in playing Modern Warfare, they didn't have any interest in playing Warzone, they still had to download all of that content that was being added for Warzone, and there was no way to avoid it if you wanted to continue playing Modern Warfare multiplayer. Additionally, oftentimes they'd make changes to Warzone that would unintentionally apply to multiplayer as well, and it would impact the multiplayer experience. And there were several instances where an update to Warzone could actually break certain elements of the game entirely on the multiplayer side of things, which is obviously really frustrating for those that only wanted to play multiplayer, because a totally different game that they didn't even want to play was breaking the game that they do want to play. Additionally, I believe they've actually had to cut content from the multiplayer side of things in Modern Warfare in order to accommodate the content for Warzone, because there are limits to how high they can go with that disk usage. And a great example here is the current rotation of ground war maps. This appears to have been cut down considerably for Modern Warfare 2019, and I believe this is due to the fact that they had to actually cut that content out in order to make room for Warzone content. So this is why there's been a ton of feedback and criticism around this, and many people, myself included, have been begging for a separate client between Warzone 2 and Modern Warfare 2, so they're handled entirely different. Now that we have the preload data, it looks like that's unfortunately not going to be the case. However, it does appear they're at least taking a step in the right direction here, and it looks like Warzone 2 will have its own separate download pack, even though Warzone 2 will be contained within the same application as Modern Warfare 2. So let's have a look at these packs and the download size. At least on PlayStation 5, this will vary slightly depending on the platform that you're playing on, but it looks like for the base game download, this is just the baseline download that you need to even launch the game in the first place. This is just over 36 gigabytes, which honestly doesn't seem that bad at all. But then on top of that, we've got roughly 5 gigabytes for a multiplayer pack, 2 campaign packs, each of them are over 8 gigabytes, a co-op pack, which is currently just 2.62 gigabytes, and then we see that separate Warzone 2 pack. Again, this is contained within the same application, but at least it's a separate download pack at 2.55 gigabytes. Now, to be clear, many of these packs are likely to increase massively in size as we get closer to their release, because as of right now, we're only really downloading this to gain access to the campaign pack. And 2.5 gigabytes, for instance, for Warzone 2, there's no way the whole game is going to fit within 2.5 gigs, even with the base download of 36 gigs. So that is likely to increase substantially as we get closer to the launch of that. And even the multiplayer pack, I would guess that's going to be increasing in size as we get closer to launch as well with a big day one update. But even with that in mind, this actually seems to be quite a reasonable download size for a PS5 Call of Duty game. It seems like they've really been doing a lot of optimization on the back end to make sure these file sizes are smaller, and that's great news because this turns out to be a total of 62.97 gigabytes for PlayStation 5. I saw somebody on Reddit posted a total of 81.8 gigabytes for Xbox Series X. And it's also likely to be a bit of a different size for the PC side of things, but we won't really know with that because at this point, I believe you can only see the campaign packs on PC. You can't even see the other packs available. But at least as far as what we can see so far, this is looking pretty good. I especially like the fact that that Warzone 2 pack is separate from the multiplayer pack. So at least if you have no interest in Warzone 2, you don't have to constantly be downloading big content packs that only apply to Warzone. You can just select the pack for the modes that you actually want to play. However, this still does raise a question, with everything still being on the same application, I wonder if there are going to be any characteristics that are tied to all of these modes, where if you make a change in one, it has to change the other as well. I'm sure many elements will be separated between multiplayer and Warzone, like weapon balancing, for instance. I think it's very important that they have the ability to separate those, so they could buff or nerf a gun that is maybe under or overperforming in Warzone without also impacting that gun in multiplayer, because it might be perfectly balanced for multiplayer. So that I would suspect will be handled differently, but what about things like movement mechanics or core gameplay mechanics? Are those going to be able to be handled separately as well? Like footstep audio, that's a great example for instance. Are they able to make tweaks to footstep audio for Warzone without impacting footstep audio in multiplayer? For me personally, I think it's extremely important to handle that completely different in a open world battle royale environment versus a small cramped 6v6 environment. So I wonder if they're going to have the ability to do that, or if that's going to have to remain consistent across all modes. So overall, while this definitely appears to be a good step in the right direction, I still have some concerns with Warzone 2 falling under the same application as Modern Warfare 2. But at the very least, it looks like for those players that don't want to download Warzone 2 content, or maybe they play Warzone 2 and don't want to download multiplayer content, it looks like we will have the ability to download them separately, and I do like that part. And with that, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for today's video. Just a quick reminder, I will be streaming the Modern Warfare 2 campaign early access tomorrow morning on my Twitch channel. Unfortunately, with my contract, I'm not allowed to stream that on YouTube. So it will be on Twitch. I will leave a link to that down below if you want to come check it out. And with that, this is where I want to hear what you guys think in those comments down below. How are you feeling about the fact that Warzone 2 is still going to be under the same application as Modern Warfare 2, but at least we're going to have the ability to download them separately? Do you think this is a fair compromise? Do you think this will work out well? Or would you prefer if they were separated entirely? Just let me know down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated. And don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.